Welcome to the What's Your Weird Story podcast.
Everyone has at least one good story.
And some of us have stories that are just to the left of normal.
We're interested in the ones that push the boundaries of what we can perceive.
Stories that defy explanations.
Stories with an air of mystery.
Stories we might not share
for fear of being thought of differently.
But don't worry, we're all friends here. So, what's your weird story? Hello, Weirdsville. How you guys doing out there? It is the What's Your Weird Story podcast once again. I am your host, Adam Beebe, and with me, as always, is your other host, Barry Johnston.
Yo, what's up, man? How's things?
Things are all right. You know, it's we're finally starting to get a little bit nicer weather here. We're after post summer, so it's going to start getting into fall, which is much nicer. I like the fall and the winter because you can layer up and look pretty decent.
Yeah, I do too, man. I just like the brisk, mornings and the smells in the air, people burning firewood,
Yeah.
Love all that.
There's something, I don't know. To me, that's where the romance is, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, man, doing pretty good. Just working on the show, trying to get some, line up more guests for us in the future. And
we got some coming. We got some guests coming.
Yeah, we got some stuff coming. Also, doing my art, trying to do that stuff and make stuff for people when they get a hold of me and they're like, hey, I want a drawing of this or I want a painting of that or whatever. And I'm like, cool, awesome, let's do that. And also I'm getting mentally prepared for our live event coming up in October, man.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Just a few weeks away.
It's crazy.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. We are coming into a shift in seasons. It's not so hot. It's bearable. Lower 90s is kind of where we're peaking at. And we'll have a couple more hot days before we start to settle into the cooler time. Usually, into October, early October, mid-October, it starts to get nice and cool. So, but yeah. By
the time this comes out, it should be getting pretty good for you there. So
yeah, that'd be great. So yeah, things are good. Things are good.
Good deal, man. So what we've got today, this is kind of interesting. We've got something from our vault, and we've got a few things from our vault, but this is a story from the vault, and we've been sitting on it for a while, just waiting for the right moment. It seems a good time for it, to bring it out. And this was from when we spoke to Vinnie, my buddy Vinnie, way back in the beginning of the podcast. Vinnie had he had those spooky shadow men, other creepy stories, right?
Those were good.
Remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we paired that up because that was a shorter thing. So we paired that up with Chris, who also had his shadow man and other, that creepy experience and stuff. So we took the second part of Vinnie's interview, which was much longer and much different, and we held on that. We sat on it. We were going to use it, and then we just like, well, okay, let's hold on it again. We hold on again. So we finally found a place that is a good place to drop it. This is about a strange night, a strange journey, a weird journey for sure. It's not your spooky type. It's not your, it's not woo-woo at all. It is a story of a young man out looking for a good time and where the night takes him and his guide on this night. So I don't want to give too much away, but this is definitely, it's got some really surreal aspects to it for sure.
Yeah, it's a good story. I can't wait for people to hear it.
Cool. All right. Well, let's just crack into it and say, Vinnie, what's your weird story?
It's Lynchian, it's water-esque, and then I was like, when I was remembering it, I'm like, it's more like a Harmony Korine thing.
Yeah, that very much.
And I know they all, Harmony Korine stands on the shoulders of Lynch and Waters, but it's, I don't want to hype it up too much, but here we go.
Honestly, Vinnie, I'm going to say this. I think it's better than a Harmony Korine movie, but Strike Me Down. I'm not a fan of his work, generally speaking. So,
oh man, Gummo's like my favorite.
Oh, dude! Here's the thing. I took a lot of shit from this when I went out east, and everybody was just, especially in the art school at ECU, everybody loved Gummo. And Barry, did you ever see Gummo? I
did not.
All right. Well, you don't need to see it because basically what this movie is, it's a small town in the Midwest, and this follows a kid around as he's going around to all the other, seeing all the other neighborhood kids basically the day after a tornado has happened.
Okay.
And we've lived that.
Yeah, we lived that for sure.
And it's just, you go around and you see these kind of weird normal things that slice of life and trailer parks and stuff like that in a small town or whatever after it. And so for me, man, I was so bored because I was like, dude, I know these people. That's Tim Ring over there. Right. That's whatever, I mean, I know these people. It's just whatever. So for me, Gummo was not the mind-altering, jaw-dropping experience that most other people who didn't come from that had.
I never heard of that. Even I don't think this is news to me. So
it's worth it. I think it's beautifully shot, and
I'll give you that. It is incredibly well shot. It is not heavy on plot.
No.
Or anything like that, and it's kind of one of those cult films, art house films, where it's like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Kids, which I couldn't finish either.
Oh, I didn't like Kids.
Kids was just way too brutal and just too much, and and of course I couldn't identify with Kids because I'll tell you what, Gummo is basically almost the exact antithesis of Kids, because it's small town Midwest and Kids is New York City proper, So anyway. Okay, so let's get, we're done enough film dissection, and
right.
let's carry on to Vinnie's very own strange trip.
Yeah. All right. So, quick background. I had to have been probably 15 or 16 at the time, brand new to the scene. Well, not brand new, but still kind of chomping at the bits and just saying yes to anything and everything, because I had a taste of I don't know, life, it's just everything was brand new.
Yeah.
Drugs, alcohol, parties, punk rock, just everything was brand new to me. And it was
you're primed for it, man. You were in a prime time for all of that because you were open to experiencing life. You were 15, 16. You were in a college town that was a known party town, and was excess was the way,
Yeah.
And and I mean, you also had kind of a lot of freedom, that a lot of kids your age did not have.
No, my mom was super cool, super lenient. She not the coolest mom, She's didn't buy me cigarettes or anything like that, or drive me to shows. But she didn't stop me either. I would go to shows during the week. I'd get fucked up during the week. She cared. You know what I mean? Any mother does. But as long as I wasn't failing in school, she was I guess he's got it handled. She let me sharpen my teeth on the bones of society rather than, on her, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I think she let you be a responsible person before a lot of your peers. Because I guess she realized that. I mean, and dude, and I've known Vinnie since he was about this time that he's talking about. Yeah. And when he used to, because I worked at the record shop and he was hanging out there and at the shows and stuff. And Vinnie was, he, like I said earlier, he walked around with the total real hardcore PR punk rock kid wear, and with the boots and the jeans and the jacket and the mohawk and everything. But also, you were always a good kid. You were always responsible for yourself for the most part, and for your friends,
Yeah.
And so you looked out for your people. So you were somebody that a parent could, you could trust. So I mean, it speaks highly of you as your character, and then and as so.
Yeah,
Anyway,
like, I just don't want to pay my mom as like some like absentee parent.
oh no, not at all.
Oh no. Like but
Yeah.
But anyway, so I had woken up and from a party at Bert and Joey's house, which is like a main, like pretty, regular spot. Like if there wasn't something going down at the back door, probably something going on over there. And so like I woke up and went to the fridge because I had bought like some 40s, and I poured a 40 into a coffee cup because I thought that was brilliant. That way I could walk around downtown and drink. I was like, nobody's ever thought of this before.
Of course.
And yeah, so I went downtown because I had to score some more cigarettes, and I can't buy them, too young. So I was just going to find somebody to buy them for me. And typically it could be a bum or, just some college kid. They don't give a shit, So I did that, and then I met this guy, and I don't know how we started talking, how he got my attention. But eventually, like he was like he promised he could double my money. And and again, I'm young and naive, I'm all like nowadays I'd be like, man, get the hell out of here. That's sounds too easy. Therefore,
but then it sounded good then though. It sounded this is promising. I walked out the door with $10. I'm going to get 20.
Yeah, like I had $20 on me, and I was like, "Wow, $40."
Yeah.
That's how many shows I could get into. How many, right. How much beer I can buy. Like that was my only.
Yeah. Totally, man.
At that time, like my only concern was punk rock, drugs, sex. Like I really didn't give a fuck about anything else.
Yeah, you're 16, man. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Hormones. Hormones are doing it all. So
like I was like, all right, cool, we can do that. But I was like, I got to hit up this show real quick because there was like an afternoon show, a straight edge show, at the Pigeonhole, which was straight edge Ben's place. Like that's what he was also known as.
Right.
Which is the first time I've ever heard it.
I never knew it was I never heard it was the Pigeonhole.
I think it's probably just something they wanted to start. Like I remember it being on the flyer.
Right. Oh, you had to call it.
Caught on.
You had to give it a name, and every house that had shows had to have a name for some reason. I think it started. Well, no, I was going to say it started with the Soccer Moms, but I know it goes further back because the Spasms house, and it was usually bands' houses that would have. Like shows. So, yeah,
or Bert and Joey's,
but they never. Bert and Joey's just sounds like they never had a name. It's just Bert and Joey's.
Yeah,
this is Bert and Joey's.
But I don't know why they called it the Pigeonhole or whatever. I might even be misremembering that. But either way, it was a straight edge show, and I'd already drinking like most of that 40, and so I stopped back at Bert and Joey's, like this was never locked.
Yeah.
And like got another 40, poured it in my coffee cup, and then went to the show because I was like,
so you're at a straight. Now some people that listen to this podcast don't know what straight edge is. You're at a straight edge. So straight edge is kids that they don't drink, do drugs for the most part,
or have sex,
have sex,
smoke,
Drink coffee,
any of
I
that.
think.
Yeah.
None of the fun stuff.
Exactly.
Sorry, straight edge listeners.
They're basically Mormons. They're basically
basically Mormons that listen to
like punk rock.
Right.
Mormons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you are showing up to the Straight Edge show pretty lit, and imbibing, enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've already got blacked out a couple times before this incident, So like alcohol was not like, I was no virgin to alcohol. I was on the regular getting messed up. But I put it in, like, I knew the straight edge scene kind of, like, I knew there were rules, and that's why I kept it in the coffee cup, because I was like, well, I don't want to, I was like, I didn't go there intentionally to piss anybody off. Like, it's cool, you don't want to do that,
right?
But I'm going to do that, but I'm also not going to shove it in your face about it, Like, this is whatever. I wanted to be respectful, but I still wanted to get fucked up. And so, and then, like, there was this band Two Fisted, and they were playing, like, and he was, like, saying how he wished he had a beer. I'm like, it's a band, like, you're alcoholics, clearly, or not alcoholics, but, but you drink. You named your band Two Fisted, but you're playing a straight edge show, and then you're gonna bitch about, like, not having anything to drink.
Right.
So I was like, oh, here, I got you, dude. Like, he was like, I don't want any coffee. I was like, no, there's beer in there, and then, like, so a few gas or whatever. I'm like, oh, get over it, like, and he drinks it, and then he wants to accost me for having shitty taste in beer. I'm like, he's like, what is this? I'm like, it's Schlitz, man. I don't,
this guy was a craft beer connoisseur, man.
Yeah, like, way before it was super popular.
Right.
Barry, when you lived in Milwaukee, Barry, when you lived in Milwaukee, did you have Schlitz on tap in every home, or was that just?
It was a lot of Pabst was the
PBR.
That was the deal.
Punk rock beer, man.
That's it.
Yeah, it was cheap. Like, I didn't.
And it was good. It was good, dude.
Yeah.
Why not? King Cobra was my go-to.
You like the malt liquor there.
Yeah.
So.
And then it came out with a wide mouth, so you could put more in. Like, I'm telling you, I was concerned with, like, getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, not just like a little afternoon tipsy. I'm trying to go hard.
Sure.
Sure. Because I was like, well, that's what punk rock is.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so he accosted me, and I was like, you know what, fuck this. And I was like, let's go do your thing. Let's go double our money, So he takes me to, like, I don't know where the fuck he took me to, because I was still kind of, like, mapping out, downtown. Because I did everything by foot. Like, I lived 6 miles away, but I would walk downtown.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You see Vinnie walking all the time, man.
Okay.
And everywhere. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a bike.
Hoofed it. Punk rock style, man. Hoofed it everywhere.
It's not late, dude. We got it. Trust me. Okay. And, like, my left and my right, that took me everywhere. I mean, and then if somebody gave me a ride back home, that'd be cool. Or I usually crash or eventually walk my happy ass back home.
God, I remember several times taking you out back home, dude.
Yeah.
Way out there on the other side of town. Way on the other side of town.
Yeah. Like,
Barry, it would have been like he would have been walking from, like, my house to your house in Kingfisher. Yeah. That's how far he would have been.
That's a good walk.
Oh.
That's how strong my dedication was.
No kidding.
Yeah, I didn't do it all the time, but 90% of the time, I'd be out there.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't know anything was going on, I'd hit up the alley, like, by the Percocet and see what's happening. That's where the info was, and then go to CD Alley.
Nice.
So he takes me to, like, not the greatest part of town, like, and we go to, like, it's a neighborhood I've never seen before, like, playgrounds all rusted out and, like, falling apart. Just everything's dilapidated. Clearly, these people are not doing well, And then we hit up this like one house. And the guy who answers it is in a like pink, like hot pink, like 50s pink robe, like silk, maybe. Probably wasn't silk, but it appeared silk.
Yeah.
And it was like mid-thigh. You know?
Nice.
Right. And I want to say he didn't have a shirt on, and I think he had like boxer shorts on. But like I really wish it was like whitey tighties and like pea stained, but it wasn't.
In my mind, and it doesn't matter what you say, but in my mind, the visual is he's got the leopard print, kind of Speedo, kind of jock strappy things, you know.
Right. And I'm already like, what the fuck is going on? I'm down for whatever. And I was like loving the fact that shit was weird. But I was like, I really don't want to go in this guy's house.
Yeah. Because it could just get weirder.
Yeah, I was like, I'm like testing out, you know, I guess my limits. Like how weird can it get before I'm like, nah, I'm out. But then, you know, like I remember telling myself like, no, it'd be cool. Like, don't be weirded out. That's just that's his thing. And like he had kind of like slick back hair. Like it would have been in a pompadour had he fixed himself up, like kind of a Presley kind of thing. But it was like kind of all over the place. So we get in his house and it's like 50s kitsch, like everywhere. There's a Velvet Elvis.
Yes.
There's also a Velvet Marilyn.
Nice.
You know?
Man, I wish I knew who this dude was. Maybe. Yeah.
Just like peeked inside, you know, just been a fly on the wall in his life. And he's like on the phone, you know, not a cell phone, but not like, but what do we call him? Cordless. Yeah. God damn. He was on cordless and he was like upset and kind of like, you know, not really yelling, but like talking loudly to the other person on the phone. And, but yeah, like I sat down on his couch, like it was like he inherited the place from his like grandmother or something, you know, and just nothing ever changed. But I'd like to think, because I didn't ask him about it, but I like to think he loved all that shit, like unironically, like he was really into like 50s kitsch, like Waters, like John. That's where the John Waters part.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And
I'm on the same page with you there. I think that was that guy. I think that was his shtick. He was there.
Yeah, like, and that's cool. And it was just like, oh, it even had that weird cat thing, you know, the cat clock with the fucking eyes that go back. Yeah. Oh, I hate those things. I don't know why. Yeah, because like I remember that because I was like, God damn it! Like as soon as I saw it, I got like upset. Like if not upset by like a fucking half naked man answering the door with like a pink robe on, but like a hot pink satin robe. But no, that cat clock.
You found your limits, I guess.
Yeah. That's my limit of weird that I'm just like, no.
Sit down on the couch.
Yeah, we're sitting on the couch and the homeboy starts talking to the dude, the owner of the house, about some shit, and I was like, I don't know. Like I'm getting weird. I am getting weirded out at this point. Like I'm like, I don't know if I want to be in this situation. Like I think I put myself in a situation where I don't need to be in. And I'm like kind of checking out the exits. I'm like not even listening to what they're saying. Like as long as I'm not about to get killed or
help somebody killed
or touched or help somebody. You know, I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, because he didn't seem to be in his right mind, the owner of the house. You know. But next thing and then like crack comes into the equation, and I forget exactly how crack comes into the occasion. But now we're in the dude's bedroom and they're smoking crack.
Uh-oh.
And the door's shut and they're like, do you want some? And I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like at that time I had a I had a few drugs that I was like, not going to touch those, you know, PCP,
Yeah.
heroin,
Yeah.
and crack.
Yeah.
I won't go into which ones I have done.
Yeah.
But there's only one of them I haven't on that list. That But yeah, so they started smoking crack, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm like, whatever. At that point, I was like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta find a way to like ditch this dude. But when we finally leave, and I'm all fucked up. Like I have basically like I was hot box with like fucking secondhand crack smoke.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're feeling
I'm
a little
like-
bit. Yeah.
A little bit. I'm like, wow, why do I have all this energy? You know?
Yeah.
Right. Like me and this guy get to talking, and like we don't stop talking, you know, like,
Oh man.
and then he just walks me around like downtown, or like not Fifth Street or anything, not like downtown actual, but like, you know, the neighborhoods, like in Third and Fourth and all that. We're just like walking, and I remember I can recognize a few of the houses. Like, I've been down here before. Like I feel more comfortable because I'm like, I know where I am.
Right.
You know, like if I had to fucking get out of there, I know where to go, what places I can like hide out in. But then we end up walking back to Fifth Street because he was talking about like, oh, I gotta hit up this one dude for some money. He's like, I gotta get my money, and once we get my money, we'll go and we'll double ours. And I was like, all right, cool. So we go on Fifth Street, and it's this apartment, or this like a doorway that leads up to the stairs to apartments above a restaurant in Greenville. It's like it was next door to CD Alley and in between CD Alley and Cubby's. Yeah, you know who.
I know exactly what's going on, and those apartments, and I never went in them, but there was a reason.
Right, and you're about to hear the reason. Like, I'd been up there like a couple of times, you know, and it was, you know, there's the first two times I went in there, like, yeah, it kind of smelled like, you know, dog shit and piss here and there. Like, they just had dogs and they didn't let them out all the time, like, whatever. And I was like, oh, at the time, I remember like, oh, it's so punk rock. It smells awful, and we're gonna get fucked up. Like, that was in the very beginning. Like, I was just like, whatever, it's gross and disgusting, punk rock. But when we went up there this time, it was like once we opened the door, once we got upstairs and the door was open, I mean, it was just like, it was awful. Like, the smell was immediate. Like, you could taste it.
Ugh.
Of just piss and shit.
Ugh.
And like, no lights were on except for like way straight back there was like a red light, you know, because every fucking shitty drug person has to have like that one red light bulb. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But they do, and it's like dimly lit, like, and the entire passageway is just like, you can see like bumps and smushes of just shit. And look, an old dude just like navigates that minefield not too well, but better than I could have. And starts talking to this cat who's like, he like wakes him up, and the guy's like nodding out and everything. So he had just shot up, like probably moments before we got there. And you know, old dude starts getting loud with I remember meeting the guy one time, but he was like a skinny kid, like white dude. Just, he was a heroin user, you know, which not uncommon for that.
I mean, honestly, those apartments were pretty much all. I mean, they were just there was a lot of junkies that lived up there. Everybody that I knew that had a place up there was a junkie. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and so he was like talking about like, hey, do you have my money? Because I guess he sold him some heroin, and dude didn't have his money. And he was like, we just go into the room in the middle of the hall and like just grab some CDs and like, you know, you can have those as payment. So he's like, and he tells me that, and I'm like, okay, I'm young and I'm so impressionable. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, that's between you two. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And he just hands me CDs to hold. And I'm like, all right. So then CD Alley is closed because it was late, which, you know, you could sell back CDs there.
Yeah. Which probably, I knew probably all those people because like, you know, it literally was in like next door to the CD Alley. And so that's why I know a lot of those people. At the time, I didn't, because I was also kind of a little bit naive, but you know, or later on, I learned more. So
yeah, music, like people talk and shit gets out. But like, so we take it down to, I forgot what that bar was with the patio. Remember, it was attached to that.
Was it Alfredo's, or was that? No, that was the place
Alfredo's.
across the street. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it.
Anyway, it had like an outdoor patio, and it was run by like a couple of shady dudes.
Yeah, all the bars were run by shady dudes.
But these were the shadies. Like, I didn't get along with them at all. I mean, I was able to drink on their back porch, but you know. But anyway, so like we sold him the CDs, you know, so the guy got his money, and then he takes me. Then we start walking up Dickinson past the comic book shop, and like the Hobby Horse wasn't there at the time, but like, you know what I'm talking about, like past that, like I feel it was straight. It was
really,
the ghetto.
really bad part of town.
It's like bad. You don't need to be there unless you're there for something.
Yeah.
You don't need to be walking around at night. You don't need to be walking around at night.
Yeah. Even if you live there, it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get jacked or worse, you know? So like, he takes me up there, and I was like, dude, is this cool? And he's like, yeah. You know, this is my neighborhood. It's all good. And so like, I remember stopping by a chain link fence, and he was like, hey, he's like, just wait here. I'm going to go up 2 blocks into this house. He's like, you know, they don't like, you know, new people coming in, you know, and all this other stuff. And I was like, I got it. Not the first time that I've dealt with drug dealers, you know.
Today.
Right? Yeah. I was like, I get it, you know. So I was like, I'll just wait here. So I wait there for like an hour. Like, and I'm getting asked like, hey kid, you know, hey white boy, you want some crack, you know? Like, and I don't mean that like in any type of like weird
sexual manner
or racist way. Like, he's just saying like, the dude was asking me, do I want some crack?
Of course.
And I'm like, no, thank you. Like, no, I've already had some, I guess. I'm good. But yeah, people are, you know, and then he was like, well, what the fuck are you doing here? And I'm like, I don't have an answer, you know? I was just like, I'm just waiting for my friend to come back, you know? That happens a couple more times. And after like an hour, I was like, oh shit, I just got conned. Like, like that's when it hit me. Like, the longest con ever.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about like 8 hours this guy invested just for $20.
Wow.
Well, you know, he also benefited from your charming personality and companionship for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, it's possible that if you hadn't taken off, I'm guessing that's what you're doing here after you realize what happened, that, you know, he could have went back and could have sold you to somebody. So, you know. Yeah.
I mean, it could have been a lot worse. And, but then, yeah, I'm like, and then I went back to buy, and I was pissed. I mean, I was fucking pissed. I remember like crying a little bit, you know. I was just like, God damn it, like so mad at like being so stupid. But yeah, and then like I think the next weekend, like I went down there pretty early, and the dude who CDs those were like had nothing to do with any of that shit. He was like, he didn't accost me. He was like kind of real. He was real cool about it. He was like, hey, I heard you went into my room and like stole my CDs and sold them to the guys on the corner. I was like, whoa. I was like, I didn't go in your room and steal anything. Like, I was told like it was cool with those two. I was like, I don't know whose fucking shit this is. And he was like, yeah, that should have given you the clue. And I was like, yeah, you're right. But like, he was so cool about it. It made me feel like the biggest piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even stay to hang out.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as like that conversation was over, like I walked right back home, and I didn't go out for like a month or two. Like and every time I would like fuck up in the scene, like I would take a sabbatical. Be like, all right, you need to fucking tone it down a little bit. Yeah. And then reintroduce yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's smart, though, dude. That was a smart thing to do because you could have got so easily wrapped up in bad things in that town, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It is, well, I did. And that's why I had to join the army.
That's not a bad thing. No. You know, the thing is...
it's all worked out.
Yeah. It's like when you're in those precarious situations... As a kid, your mind can't even go to the place where it should go to, which is shit could get bad here, you know? And when you're a kid, you're so concerned about like being the cool guy or I can handle this, you know? And like everybody else is doing this shit. Like I can fucking do that shit. And not realizing that like, there's a whole nother level to this game. And, you know, and if you say the wrong thing or you do the wrong thing and you don't even know it, it can cost you big time, man.
Your life. Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. I moved to New York when I was 19 and lived in Queens, and I lived in a basement apartment, cockroach infested, nasty place. And I worked in like Chinatown, which is... It's about an hour and 20 to 30 minute train ride to get to work every day. And it was also at that time really infested with gangs. And the first day I showed up to work, my boss asked me, "Have you been mugged yet?" I said, "No." He said, "It's only a matter of time, dude. I've been mugged 6 times." And I was just like, fuck, dude. Like I grew up in the middle of nowhere. Where we didn't, 5,000 people in my town, dude. Everybody knew everybody.
If that, yeah.
If that. And so it's like now you live in a place where you got to act like you know where you're going, what you're doing, and just don't talk to anybody and fucking keep your head down and do what you got to do, you know? But when you're 15, you don't know that shit.
No, nobody tells you that.
No.
I mean, thankfully, though, I look like a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Weirdo to other people. I thought I looked great.
Yeah.
But that was
but that helps.
That was a good defense.
Right.
It was a good defense because that keep a lot of people away who, because
that still helps.
in many ways, even though it was a college town, it was still a small town, small southern town, so.
Yeah, there was a seedy undercurrent. Like,
there was a big time to that for sure.
It's palpable. Like once you're aware of it, it's pretty palpable.
Yeah,
it is a dark place.
All the shit that goes down there. Yeah.
It's amazing that when you're, before you know that the shit's going on. Like nowadays, dude, I know when shit's going down, and no one around me will realize what's going on. I'm like, dude. We need to get out of here,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's good that you learn those lessons, I think, if you learn those lessons in a way that it doesn't hurt you, I mean, you lost $20, but shit, man.
Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it could have been. I got out of there pretty good, pretty lucky.
Right.
Sunday, October. Saturday, October 19th, Enid, Oklahoma, at the Enid Brewing Place. Barry, what's it called?
Enid Brewing Company on the corner of Independence and Main.
That's right. Hopefully, we got your attention just now. That's right. Saturday, October 19th. You've heard us talk about it. We're talking about it again. Our very first live event, What's Your Beer Story, where we're going to be featuring your 3 co-hosts telling and sharing true life stories of the beer kind, the had too much to drink kind, the hold my beer, etc., kind. And we are inviting you to be there to share your stories as well. You can try out the variety of beers available and made exclusively by the Enid Brewing Company, including co-host Barry Johnson, who is one of the brewmasters there. And also hear some funny stories and have a good time and just catch up with us. It'll be a fun time. We're going to do stuff. It'll be hilarious. It's going to be fun. We'd love to see you. Join us Saturday, October 19th, 2019, Enid, Oklahoma.
Hey, that's a nice t-shirt you got on there.
Oh, thanks, dude. It's brand new. Do you like that? It's one of the official What's Your Weird Story t-shirts.
Where'd you get that?
It's funny that you ask. I just got it off the brand new spreadshirt.com site for the What's Your Weird Story podcast. There's no www. You just go straight to shop.spreadshirt.com/what's without the apostrophe WHATS hyphen YER-WEIRD-STORY, and that'll take you right there.
I mean, you can never own enough clothing.
Well, it's true, Barry. There's t-shirts for the ladies because, you know, they're cut differently. There's hoodies, which are really cool. There's 2 different kinds of hoodies, and there's also tote bags, so you can tote your stuff.
That's so cool, man.
So if you guys go out to spreadshirt.com, What's Your Weird Story, currently there are 2 designs, but there will be more going up very soon. So just keep your eyes out for that. And if you decide to get one of our shirts, tag yourself on Instagram to ours or Facebook. Show your love. Show us what you got. Let's see your true colors. I'll tell you what, dude. I'm not surprised by that story at all, by the weirdness of that story, by everything that happened in that story, the surrealness of that story. Because I did live in Greenville for 7 years. And I had some pretty strange nights of my own.
Right. You know, there's certain people out there that things happen to them naturally, weird things, and they get themselves in weird, awkward situations. Vinnie seems to be one of those people. And he's very buttoned down, has it together, but
now
you could but you could see that, you know, when he was younger, he was probably game for whatever.
He was,
and he comes across that way, and that was a great story. I've found myself in similar situations where, not to that extreme, but I've been in situations where I all of a sudden want to get out. And you know, so there's that aspect of his story that I just really related with. It was great stuff.
Yeah, my favorite is part of this is definitely when he goes to the house with the guy that's like, you know, that's all in pink and everything, and it's all, you know, the crazy 50s, you know, seems like something out of a John Waters movie, you know.
Yes.
And how, you know, he thinks he maybe got a crack contact high.
Oh man.
But yeah, Vinnie was I mean, he's a great guy now, and he's definitely, you know, more like seems more put together, more relaxed for sure when we talked to him, because, you know, I hadn't spoken to him for years, and he was still a kid whenever I knew him, basically around this time. And he had a sense of adventure. He never would get too excitable. Everybody can get excitable at times, but he was always just along for the ride. He would go along for the ride. He would have fun. He would just, you know, wherever it took him, he would go. And not usually did it end up in these is crazy and bizarre as it did this particular story. But yeah, you know, I mean, and that's, you know, Greenville was a town. It was a party town, a party college town, you know, with a great little local indie rock and punk rock scene. And that gave birth to some really great bands like, you know, like Valiant Thor and the Avett Brothers. They kind of got together there. I mean, they're brothers. They've always been together, but they formed that concept of the band for that bluegrass type stuff. There. They started in it was kind of they had a band when I first got there called Nemo that was a kind of like a southern emo band. And it was really interesting. So it was kind of a hard post-rock, well, not post-rock, but kind of hard post-hardcore sound with, like, definitely very southern sung lyrics. Okay. You know, couldn't shake it. But it was really cool. It was really good. And I used to play with my friends in the Lo-Fi Conspiracy, even Herbie and and those guys, and went on to be Valiant Thor. And of course, one of the more well-known acts that come out of that town was is now Future Islands, who was, when we were there, I was part of his Art Lord and Sell Portraits.
Right.
So yeah, so
that's awesome.
It was a fun town. Yeah, it was rich history. It was a fun town, and Vinnie was part of there, through all those shows. And I used to see him all around and give him rides home when he couldn't, because he lived so freaking far away from downtown. You hate to see a kid walk so much, and so yeah. But man, it was a fun time. It was a good time, but definitely a time left in the past, because man, that's when I was young too, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's only so much of that you can do.
Yeah.
Like we were saying earlier, rock and roll is a young man's game. That's
right, dude. That's right. So anyway, I guess that is it for today. The Vault story, from Story from Vinnie. We appreciate Vinnie sharing that story. We finally got to use it. I'm very happy about that. We'll be back next week with some more good stuff. Don't forget, we talked about it before, but don't forget that we got the live event coming up. It's October 19 in Enid.
And people need to get in touch and get on the list. Get on the list. So we'll know how much area to map out. So let us know. There's on the Facebook page. There's an event on the Facebook page. You can do all that stuff. What's your beer story? You can find it. But yeah, we're looking forward to that, and looking forward to all the stuff coming up, and looking forward to speaking to you when you finally decide to share your story here on the podcast, because, we need your stories, and we love talking to you guys. And, it doesn't matter if it's a short story, like John last week, he had that one story, ended up turning into several stories that I remember while we were talking, That's right.
Great episode, lots of fun. So, yeah, get a hold of us and let's talk. Let's get weird within, the parameters of the show, because Barry is a married man after all. So thanks for listening, everybody. Tune in next week. We'll see you then. Be safe.
Be weird.
As always, if you have a weird story, we want to hear it.
If you have a lot of them, we want to hear them all.
We can't do this podcast without your invaluable contributions.
Whether it's sharing your stories,
listening,
rating,
and spreading the word about the podcast. Thanks for listening. Till next time, be safe.
Be weird.
The stories presented on the What's Your Weird Story podcast are, to our knowledge, true experiences that our guests have had. We can't take the time to research all claims made, and besides, it's